Hello YouTube, this is Wayne from Smith Farm Shenanigans again today. I got something a little different for you today. So today we're working on this heat pump here. The owner states that someone came out, they had problems of it not heating. This emergency heat only worked. So the owner came out, the owner had someone came out and they did some work on it and told them there was something wrong. They can't remember what they got told. But apparently the tech had bypassed something, and so they contacted me. Now I'm no HVAC person. I used to install heat pumps back in the day before all the Freon bans, so I don't do Freon anymore. I only do electrical stuff, and so I'm going to check this heat pump out for them, see if I can help them out. There won't be no charge on this job, obviously, but I just wanted to walk y'all through it and see if this may be something that you guys have going on with yours. Remember, the problem with this is that it heats only on emergency heat. It doesn't heat normally, but it cools fine. So we're going to try to figure out what's going on. And let me get everything set up and I'll be right back with you. So the first thing you want to do is you want to open this panel right here, and that's your power panel, and that runs power from your indoors, from your electrical panel out here to the heat pump. And you want to there's a little fuse panel like switch here, you pull it out. If you notice, it has here on it, it has on and off. This little handle came off. It has on and it has off. And whatever is pointing up is the one that it's on. So if it's like this, that means it don't have any power. See how easy that goes in? That means it's off. If I turn on up, see, I can read on now, right? I can read the word on. If I put it in like that, that means it's got power. So that's just a little heads up. Now, I've already pulled the panel off of this. And the first thing you want to do when if you want to try to fix your own heat pump, something simple, obviously if you are concerned about it and too much worried about it, then obviously call a professional. But a lot of this stuff you can do yourself, save yourself a lot of money. But the first thing you want to do is see what kind of model number you have and see who the maker is. That's going to tell you a lot of information. You can also get on YouTube and watch a video like this, and that will help you diagnose your problem without spending hundreds of dollars. Just to give you an example, I had a guy last year, my heat pump wasn't switching from cool to heat. Even in the summertime, it was wanting to heat, no cool at all. So I knew right away it was a reversing valve, but I didn't have time to fool with it. I called the guy who's come highly recommended. I do mean highly recommended. He came out, spent 10 minutes and look at my heat pump, and he told me that was the defroster board. And he said he'd text me back and tell me how much that would cost. Well, about a half hour went by, he texted me back, and the cost of the board itself, he told him, was $500 some. And with install, tax, and everything, it was almost $800. So he wanted $800 to fix a problem that wasn't the problem, because I fixed it myself. It was a reversing valve, and I just it got stuck. I pecked it with a magnet, and then I moved it back and forth. And I wished I would have made a video about that. But just the point I'm trying to make is sometimes the professionals miss it. I'm not saying he did it on purpose. Maybe he did or didn't. I'm not aware of that. All I know is he misdiagnosed it big time, and if I'd listened to him, it would have cost me $800. So, if you feel comfortable and you want to try this yourself, first thing you want to do is look at your model number, right? Get your model number and who manufactures this heat pump. Second of all, once you get this panel off, turn it over. It's a little windy out here today. Turn it over and you're going to see your wiring diagram. That's going to tell you a lot of information, and that's what we're looking for today. Since I don't know what they did to this, but all I know is that they bypassed something. So I got to figure out what is incorrect on this wiring diagram versus this, okay? So the first thing I want to start off is, if you don't know how to read one of these, and I have an electrical background, so if you don't know how to do it, that's okay. Take it inside, take your time, look through it. Each thing is labeled, and if you still can't figure it out, then don't fool with it. Call a professional if you need to. But if you feel comfortable enough, so here's the first thing. I want to know how my thermostat's hooked up. See right there? It says thermostat. And if you'll see, it says Y, R, O, C, W, and E. So that stands for yellow, red, orange, common, W2, and E, okay? So we're going to go up here and look. Now, all thermostats, when they're wired in, no matter what brand it is, they're going to have pretty much the same color codes. So we want to see how this is hooked up to this defroster board. This is the green board right here. This whole big board here. That green board, everything's hooked into, that is your defroster board. That's what drives the entire system. So we're going to see how this thermostat's hooked into it, if we can figure out why and what they bypass. First of all, we see here yellow connects to, from the thermostat, to yellow, the contact of the defroster board, okay? If you look up here at the top, it says defrost control board. That's what this here part is. This is your thermostat. So we will know that the thermostat connects yellow to the yellow in on the defrost control board. So we'll find yellow on the thermostat here, and it has been clipped. Somebody's cut it loose. And if we go to yellow in up here, there's a jumper going over to black. Okay, so I can already tell you what's going on here, but I want us to walk through it so you'll see what's going on. Yep, I can already see a problem. See, that's yellow in up here. If you look on the defroster board, it says yellow in, YN, but it's going to the black on the thermostat. That should not be, right? So if we look at the thermostat control wire in here, that's not what it's supposed to be. But we'll go through it. Red, let's connect to red. So here we got red coming from the thermostat, red going up, and it connects to the red. You can see the R there beside of that. So that's where it goes, okay? So if we go to orange, it connects to orange. And so here is the orange coming from the thermostat. You can see the wired here together. Orange goes up, and it also goes to orange where it's supposed to, okay? And it goes on common to common. So that's this, see? Or black, right, I'm sorry, right here, black. And a lot of times you'll see this, and this is okay. You'll see blue on here as the common from the thermostat, and that's okay. Sometimes that's what happens. But it goes up to common, okay? And then we got W2, and then we got E. So W2 goes over to, if you look at this, it goes to an optional outdoor thermostat. Well, we don't have one of those on this heat pump. You would see it out here if there was an outdoor thermostat, but there's not. So that wire is not going to be hooked up. When we look here, it is, yeah, it's wrapped around here, so it's not hooked up. Okay, and then, so the rest of it we know now. So now we got to figure out what's going on with this yellow wire here. Everything else from the thermostat is looking good. Now, if we go to the same diagram, the defrost control board, and down here now we're going to jumper contacts. So we got yellow in, it contacts with HP2 and HP1, and those two should run out and connect to HPS. So I'll tell you what those are. You can look those up later. But let's see if that's what happens. So yellow goes, here's yellow, so we're going to look on the other side of that. You're going to have your HP1 and HP2 over here on this side. See the letters? Right there. Well, if you look here, somebody made a loop and jumped that. So I already know what the problem is. Now, if we go here and look at this diagram, you can see that this says HPS. And all that means is high pressure switch. And that should connect, that should run, there should be a wire run from each side of that switch. And one of them goes to HP1, 2 and HP1. And if I look here and pull these wires out, and I noticed it pretty much right away just then. Both these were out of wires. They go inside the heat pump here. See this hole over here? They go inside this hole, inside the heat pump in here, and I'll show you what that is. So what they've done is they have bypassed the high pressure switch. I've ordered one, I've already got it here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the high pressure switch out, and I'll try to get you a situation where you can see it. I'll take it apart first, and so that you can see it. And hopefully this will help you, okay? So stay tuned. Okay, so I'm back with you. I traced that down to find where the high pressure switch on this system was. And so if you look way down in there, I don't know, hopefully you can see it. You can see there's two wires going to a little switch down there to a canister. That is your high pressure switch. Now, a lot of systems have the high pressure switch outside down here. Unfortunately, this one does not, and it's a Nordine. So I'm gonna have to take these screws out, lift this fan up out of there, to get to that switch, which is not a big deal, but you know, that's what we got to do. So I want to take that out and I'll be right back with you, okay? Okay, I got the fan out. Now some of these you can just lift the fan off and push it over to the side. That way you don't disconnect everything. And then the switch I'm talking about is right down here. See this switch right here? Here's the wires. See this switch? That's what we're going to replace. And it just takes the wrench to take it off and put it on. Now when you take that off, for a couple of seconds there, you got to be kind of quick. But for a couple of seconds, you're going to have a little bit leak of a freon, just for a couple of seconds. And there's a little valve in there, but then it'll quit leaking. So don't let that alarm you if you're doing this. And then when you put the new switch back in, it's going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to see here. Here's the new switch. I've got it right here. So if you see the end of that switch, you see that little nipple there? That depresses that valve, kind of like an air valve on your car tire. And it'll press that. It'll be a little bit leak out, but don't let that scare you. That's perfectly okay. It's allowed. It's not illegal. Even the pros can't capture that freon. That freon is considered escapable, and you can't do anything about it. So. And that's, for, like I said, it's perfectly legal, so don't let that scare you. All right, I'll be right back with you. I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, so when you're taking that out, you'll see right here is a lid or fitting. If you don't hold something like a small wrench to fit that, when you turn this other fitting off, you'll twist this little copper tube right here, and you'll ruin your heat pump. You'll have to pay somebody big bucks to come out there and fix it. So make sure you hold a wrench right here, so that when you turn this one off, it doesn't twist. This doesn't twist. You do not want that to twist. So this is the new switch right here, and this is the other fitting. So that's a 14 millimeter, and when you turn that off, you can put a wrench on this and turn it off. You got to make sure you hold that fitting down in there, like I showed you, so that it doesn't turn. If that little fitting down there turns, you'll ruin that. You'll probably break it off. Now, another thing to note is if you'll check this here out, I'm going to set something up and I'll come right back with you and I'm going to show you something. Okay, now, so I got the old switch off. Here it is, as you can see it. That's the old switch. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to check, you're going to turn your meter. I've showed you this before on my channel. You'll want to turn it to ohms, resistance, whatever you want to name it, but on your meter, there should be a little speaker icon like right here. And that's going to tell you that when you touch the leads together, that's called what we call a dead ground, or it has no resistance whatsoever. In other words, the current flows all the way through it. And so if I touch these two together, you hear that beep, that means there's a resistance going straight from this lead, straight to that current going straight from this lead into that lead. That means there's no resistance whatsoever. If you don't hear any beep at all, that means you don't have connection. There's a line broken, okay? And if you have some resistance, it's going to show on your meter up here how much that resistance is, all right? So here we go. This is, again, as I'm going to show you here, this is the old switch. We're going to test it. What we're going to do is test each wire here. See, I'm going to hold that one. If I can hold it there and film at the same time, it's a little difficult. And then I'm going to do this one too. Now you should hear a beep if it's got connection. Okay, so you don't hear anything. That means that switch is probably stuck open. There's no, in other words, it hasn't closed like it should have when there's no pressure on this. So these are high pressure switch. When they sense a lot of pressure, they open up and they let the current go through. And when they're closed, when there's no pressure, they should be closed and they should be, you know, like you should hear the beep. Okay. So now here is the new one. Okay, you can see it's still wrapped up. And this is going to be a little easier to check because it's got the terminals on it. So we'll see if it's got resistance. Now remember, it's not plugged in, so it should have you should hear the full beep. Okay, so you hear that? That means this switch is good. The other switch was bad, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and I'm going to route it back through, and then we'll try to tie this video up, okay? Okay, we got the new switch I put on. And remember, when you put that on, you're probably going to hear a little spray of a Freon coming out. And that's perfectly okay. That's allowed. What you can do is tighten it up with your hand as fast as you can. But have your two wrenches ready. One to hold the little small fitting here, to the end of my finger, and then one to put on this nut here. And you know, you'll just tighten it up, hold the other one, tighten it up real good, tight real quick. that freon will stop real fast. You won't lose enough to worry about, so don't even worry about that. And then just make sure you tie strap your wires up out of the way so they don't get caught in anything, which they won't, but you know, that's just added security. Okay, so I got the switch put in, I brought the wires out, and I plugged them in here. Now you guys won't have this situation that I have. All you'll have to do is plug those 2 wires, just unplug your old sensor right here, you switch and plug the new one in, and you're finished. But for me, someone came out, bypassed all of this, and they messed all this up. So now, you know, I was left to find out what was wrong, first of all. Second of all, put the switch in, and then thirdly, I had to reconnect the wires where they were from when the heat pump was installed. So a quick way to do that, so out here we got all our wires, and all these, like I said, came from a thermostat, right? I already went ahead and hooked my yellow back up to where it's supposed to go, according to the diagram over here I showed you earlier. And I checked everything else. The only one that I don't know where to go is this black one. There's a way to figure that out, and I'm going to show you right now. Okay, we're inside the home now, and so on every thermostat, there's a cover. You take this cover off. See, the thermostat looks like that, and you just, most of them just pop the cover off, and now you're going to see all of your wires back here. And each wire, if you look up there, has a color wire that matches the color outside because it's a straight wire. And then above that, you're going to have letters. See, there's your C, L. L usually means line, so remember that. Then the rest of them should match. W2, your E. Down here is your, that says Y. And so all these are labeled red, green, orange, like that. And so what you do is you just put them back up, hook them in here the same way you have them hooked outside on the heat pump. So if you got red to red, then that's where it needs to go outside, and so forth and so on. Orange to orange, W2 to W2, common to common. So common in here is blue, and so green is ground here. See, G is ground, orange to orange, and so forth and so on. So hook it out there exactly like you got it hooked in here. And all these thermostats come with a schematic that will show you what each one of these should be hooked to for your type of heat pump, okay? So if you don't have access to that, go online. Again, look up a brand of your thermostat. And if you don't know the model number, you can usually turn it over and have the model number right here. And if not, you can look on this little board after you take the cover off, and it'll tell you the model number. Look up the code on that, and it'll tell you what wire goes to where, and just that's all you got to do. And I came inside here, and if you look, this yellow one here is disconnected in here as well, just like it was outside. So I got to reconnect to that. The only one I've got open is L, so that means line. Now that doesn't match what I have out in the heat pump, but that's the way they had it hooked up from initially. I'm going to try that. If not, I'm going to rewire this heat pump correctly according to the diagram on the heat pump. I don't know why they wired it this way. If you see here, you see yellow wire right there stands for yellow, but they got a black to it. So we got to remember that. But now this one up here is yellow, and it's open and it says line. So yellow, like I said, yellow and red usually carries your voltage. So for that to be on line may be correct. I only know when I get hooked up and try it. And if you're unsure about it, don't do it. Hire a professional, okay? And I'll let you know what happens here in just a few minutes. Okay, we're back outside. I finally got it working. I had to switch a couple wires around because, like I said, they had switched it all up. You won't have to do that just to change your switch. As you can see, the outdoor unit's spinning good. So we'll go inside now. I got it on cool right now. We'll see if it's cooling, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, we're back inside the home, and I want to check this vent here and see if it's cool. Yeah, that's good and cold air. I've got it on cool right now, and it's about 77 degrees outside right now. And I won't know, it's supposed to get down below 70 tonight, I think in the 50s. So I'll come back over this evening and I'll check the heat portion of that and see if it's working. And if it is not working, I will let you know in this video before I post it. I'll put the end of it on there and tell you what I think the problem with that is. But as of now, everything's working fine. It's cooling just like it should. The fan's outside's running, the blower motor inside's running, everything's looking good. We'll go over and look at the thermostat here. I don't want to show you their inside their house, privacy issues obviously. And so here we are. You can see here we got the little cool symbol right there. That means it's cooling, and it's set on 72. It's 75 in here right now, so it'll cool down to that, and then we should be good to go on this job. And like I said, I'm doing this job for free for these people. They ain't got much money, so I'm trying to do it for free. And I don't want any credit, so don't think I'm anything, because I'm not. I'm just basically trying to help them out. And I want to show you too that you can do these things yourself. That's what this channel is all about. But remember, my main goal is if you think you can do it, go ahead and try it. Watch some videos like this one. There's plenty of other good creators on YouTube, way better than I am. But check these things out and see if you can do it. And if you don't feel comfortable, then go ahead and hire someone. You know, they do charge a lot of money, but they go through a lot of training and schooling to be able to do those things. And so I respect them for that. But sometimes we just ain't got the money to pay $800 to get a switch changed on a heat pump. You know what I mean? So that's what this is for, the homeowner that can't afford it. And luckily this person knows me and I know them well, and so obviously I'm going to do it for free for them. So you guys pass it along, and God bless you. And I hope this video helps you. And please, if it does help you in any way, in fashion or form, please like, share, and maybe even subscribe. It'll help grow this channel. And again, all this channel is about is just, we do crazy things out here on this farm. Sometimes we get we get things done correctly, and sometimes we fail. But that's life, isn't it? And so I just want to encourage you to do the same thing. Try to do your own work if you can. Change your own oil in your own car if you can. Learn how to do that stuff if you're able to, and if you feel comfortable, obviously. And so, like I said, I hope that God blesses you and your family's good and everything's good with you. And I'll see you on the next video. So when I was getting ready to leave, it just dawned on me, because, you know, I'm human, I make mistakes. I can actually turn this on heat, turn the temperature up, and we can see if this thing's working right now. So let's do that, okay? We're going to turn it on heat. Now, obviously, it's not going to kick on because the heat's set to 74. So we're going to set that on about 76. We'll do 77. Now, we're going to see if everything's working here. I heard the inside unit kick on. I see the little heat symbol right here. See that? It tells me it is in heat mode. So I'm going to go check everything out. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'll come out here and this is running. I'm going to show you something else. On all these modern heat pumps, they have the board. Most of them will show you the code down here. See where it says H1 right down there? I'm not going to touch anything. See, it says H1. That means heat cycle 1. So that's the beginning stages of heat cycle. And when I turned the air conditioner on a while ago, it said C1, which means cooling stage 1. And that's all written down over here as well. If you look on your, again, this is your best friend. Look right down here. It's going to tell you H1, heating's first stage. H2, heating second stage. Same thing with heating and cooling as well. So this heat pump, I think, is done. And again, I appreciate you guys watching, and try to do things yourself. And if you please, if you don't mind, leave us a like, a subscribe, or even a comment. I'll try my best to reply to any and all comments or any questions. And this, the one I'm working on today, is a Nordyne. So hopefully that'll help you all. God bless. Oh yeah, I want to tell you one more thing. I almost forgot. And this won't apply to you, but there's someone out there, when you're doing these, if you're trying to wire your own new heat pump up, or you're trying to wire your own split system, whatever the case may be. You remember a while ago when I said yellow, according to this, goes to yellow input up here? Well, inside there on the thermostat, I took a picture and they had black as their yellow power wire. So I had to take this black wire and hook it to the yellow. That's why I told you earlier about making sure that your thermostat wires on the inside match what's out here. If it don't, something's going to go wrong for you, okay? And again, y'all have a great day. And another thing I want to tell you about our channel here, a lot of times we like to just have crazy fun. We're country boys and we just like to have a bunch of fun. So you may see silly stuff sometimes, how-to videos sometimes. It's basically a daily life thing for us, and we try to share anything we think may be helpful. Have a good one.